Hey you guys, so let's talk about continuous glucose monitors, also known as CGMs. So, what are they? Why do we use them? And in a separate video, I'll show you how to apply one. And then in a third video, I'll show you how to link your device with my device so that I can also track your blood sugar along with you. So, what is a continuous glucose monitor? It monitors your blood glucose continuously. So it's a device that you apply to the skin. It does have a very small needle in it, but you really don't feel it even with application, and it consistently measures your blood sugar level throughout the day. You use it and along with your device, so your phone. You download the app from the company, and then you are able to wave it over the device, and it will check your blood sugar for you throughout the day. So why would anyone want to do this, especially if you're not diabetic? So typically these devices were created so that you could monitor your blood sugar as a diabetic, particularly if you were on insulin. It helps you know how much insulin to give yourself, etc. But what we know is that having this real-time data helps people who aren't diabetic as well. Now keep in mind that that a huge majority, or I guess a third of the US population doesn't know that they're even diabetic. And even more don't know that they're on their way to diabetes. So, diabetes is a spectrum disorder. It doesn't just start in one day, it happens over time. And so, if you are like many people who have a family history of diabetes, then that's one reason why you might want to know your blood sugar, because it will help us prevent you from developing diabetes. Now, even if you're not worried about diabetes, you don't have a family history, you have no reason to believe that you're on a trajectory towards diabetes, there are a lot of other information you can gain by absolutely knowing your blood glucose level and how it responds to certain foods. So it helps you with behavior change. It helps you decide what foods work better with you versus other foods. And the foods that you're going to respond to adversely are going to be different than somebody else. So we can't just assume that because white bread is not good for everybody. Maybe it has a worse effect on someone else, but you tolerate it just fine. Maybe if you have one slice, you're fine, but if you have three slices, well, that becomes a problem. So you're able to actually eat certain foods and see how your blood sugar responds in real time. Now, what's the benefit of knowing this information? Well, if your blood sugar is consistently higher than it should be, then that leads to inflammation, which can cause a whole other slew of issues, not just diabetes, but heart disease, brain disease, particularly Alzheimer's or memory lapses. Also, with just things like symptomatology, like brain fog or fatigue, are also can be affected by either high blood sugar or even low blood sugar. It's also really important for people at nighttime. So sometimes what will happen is that your blood sugar will actually go very low at night, and it really informs, what the last time you should have your meal. So if you have a low blood sugar in the middle of the night, then it may mean that even though my standard advice is to not eat within 3 hours of bedtime, for some people, having some protein towards the bedtime actually helps to prevent low blood sugar. And you don't want low blood sugar in the middle of the night because it can actually cause high blood pressure in the middle of the night, can cause increased stress hormones, particularly first thing in the morning. So you want to be able to have a stable blood sugar. Now, the benefit of us looking at it together is so that you don't have to figure out what it means on your own. So obviously, by me being able to look at it, it can help guide you in one direction or the other. But I would encourage you to keep a little journal as well, because if we see these really high spikes in your blood sugar, if we see really low blood sugars, then we want to be able to correlate those with particular foods or a particular time of what you were doing at a particular time. The other really good thing now that I'm just thinking about is the impact of exercise on your blood sugar as well. So what I'd like you to be able to do is pair this information along with your Practice Better app, because in your Practice Better app, you can add the foods that you're eating and the time. And then we can compare those two and decide, okay, so here are some areas where we can find improvements, or maybe we might want to make a switch. Here are some foods we may want to remove out of our diet, or when we're eating this food, to pair it with something else. So this is really helpful to really help personalize your own dietary plan. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, send me a message, send the health coach a message. And I hope that this is a informational or transformational experience for you to be using this CGM monitor. You do not need to use it indefinitely, but once we get enough information, we can make some decisions based off of that. And if you want to do it again later on in the year or something like that, you can always do that. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video where we'll talk about how to actually apply the CGM monitor.